Hi Aquarius, welcome to 10-Minute Tarot. These have all been over 15 minutes, but this morning. But I'm moving a little bit more slowly. My channeling is a little bit more slow right now, but there's still far more reduced time-wise. Yeah, like words and thoughts are really difficult because I'm very cold right now. And so I'm kind of like numb. So yeah, getting the cards and everything, it's a little bit of a challenge. Please bear with me, or don't, free will. But we're going to see maybe some signs, synchronicities, and circumstances that might indicate that you are on the right path to meeting your divine counterpart, to calling in your divine counterpart. Keep wanting to pull the, ooh. All right, well, 10 of Cups, there it is. Judgment, it's coming. Knight of Wands, I feel like there's some fast messaging coming in. I was getting a lot of Aries in the shuffle. We had the Emperor, the Fool, some other Wands, but we have the Knight of Wands, which is someone who typically will confirm, but the Knight of Wands is usually someone who's comes in really fast. They're here for a good time, not a long time. It's not a very stable energy, but with the 10 of Cups here, and Judgment, you know, it's going to be kind of up to you to dogs. They're restless. And that Knight of Wands, yeah, there might be like a restless feeling. There might be like an urgency for this masculine to come in and send a message to, and I feel like they're traveling. It's like they're coming from a great distance. They're coming across a desert. This is like, I was thinking like Gladiator, where he goes across the desert to go home, right? Because it's kind of like that dream world of like, oh, you know, I don't know what they say, but it sounds a lot more beautiful. But the Gladiator scene with the wheat fields. Now, of course, that has a not abundant, happy dream world story. Although depending on what you believe, because, you know, in an afterlife or whatever. So this could be a very past life connection. But anyway, I was getting that, and Russell Crowe is an Aries. So that could be another confirmation for Aries. So the 10 of Cups, we have the Empress. Yeah, the Empress is here. So I feel like the feminine is ready to be pursued. Is that I hate Valentine's Day. Maybe your birthday is around Valentine's Day. Maybe that's when you'll meet this person. Maybe you're an Aries, Aquarius. Well, you can't be a cusper. That would be forgetting Pisces. But maybe they are a cusper. Something about a cusp. But the Empress is Taurus and Libra. Those are other signs that you might be dealing with. But the Empress waits only for the Emperor, and the Emperor only pursues the Empress. That's the divine masculine, divine feminine. And the Emperor, this Empress is looking over at the spot where I'm going to clarify the Knight of Wands, which is like using judgment to say, is this Knight of Wands? Is this communication from my person? Or is this just a player who's here for a good time? Are they someone who's, you know, they're going to have to offer something very stable and honest and with some legs on it for this Empress. And the Empress is and the Emperor is Aries, right? So again, more Aries confirmations, but we have Judgment is the 3 of Pentacles. I feel like this is trusting in your divine judgment, your Holy Trinity, body, mind, and spirit, like listening to me, myself, and I, body, mind, and spirit. You've done a lot of work to be in the Empress or be in the Emperor. You have to have done a lot of work. You have to be the divine alchemist, right? You have to understand all the elements. You have to have done some serious shadow work, have been single, independent, for a while, and really tune into your whatever the Holy Trinity means to you. But this is like body, mind, and spirit. To use your judgment, listen to your body, your mind, and the spirit is unconditional, right? It's if you're having judgment, is trying to listen to the spirit, right? It's trying to listen to the spirit. So listen to your body and your mind. Are you overthinking? Right? Are you asking a lot of questions about this person? Do they leave you questioning? Do they leave you questioning yourself, your self-worth? So if there's a lot of question marks, if you're overthinking it, then just know that that's an indicator that this is not your person. And then trust your body. Your body will tell you if this is your person. Now, if you have an initial reaction to something about their appearance, something about their voice, the way that they behave, if you just something that's seemingly very superficial, if you have a reaction to that physically, like if you don't find them attractive, don't force it. Your body knows you're going to be attracted to your divine counterpart, right? That's not about conventional beauty or standards of society. You're going to find them attractive, no doubt. If you don't find something about them attractive, you might have other people. Like Three of Pentacles can be about collaborating with friends, but I'm getting to use judgment. Only listen to yourself, right? Unless you have a friend group that you really can trust and rely on to hold you accountable for things that you told them, things that you've told them, standards that you have told them, you want to keep boundaries. If they're the type of friends or family unit that reminds you of what you said, right? But you said you didn't want to date somebody who was, and this is very superficial. It's going to sound very shallow, but if you have dated a lot of people, and this is specific, but if you've dated a lot of people who were shorter than you, and it actually created this kind of like Napoleon syndrome, and you know that that's like what to be expected, and you don't feel attracted to them, you don't like being bigger than your partner, whatever, then that's a standard that you can have. And maybe if you have people that are like trying to placate that or soften it and be like, well, nobody's perfect. If somebody around you says nobody's perfect, get them the fuck out of your life. I can't stand that saying. Or don't keep them around, free will. But when people say, oh, nobody's perfect, no shit. There is no such thing as perfection objectively, but subjectively there is a perfection. And you like what you like, and you're attracted to what you like. And so just trust yourself. If you're like, oh, I don't really like the fact that they, if it's something like you wanted someone with brown eyes or blue eyes, and maybe that's a little bit too superficial, and that's not really influencing how they make you feel. But if something about them gives you the ick, right? You don't like the fact that they are short. You don't like the fact that they are overweight, right? And some people might say, well, they can lose the weight. Yeah, well, they need to lose it before they come into me. Like, that's an indicator that that person is not healthy of their mind and their body, and they're not tuned into their spirit in a way that's they're going to be able to be on the same divine level as I am. Now, if there's somebody who comes in and just maybe with the message of the Knight of Wands, maybe that someone is going to send you a message that's just like, you hate something about it. It's like an ick. Listen to your icks, okay? If something makes you feel icky, I feel like that's how you trust your judgment, is what works for me. It's very rare that we can trust the judgment of others for what's right for us. Because most people don't trust their own judgment, and they're going to try and soften it for you. Sometimes it's manipulative, or it's because they're narcissistic and they don't want you to succeed. They don't want you to have everything that you, and their own perception of their self-worth is so low that they can't even fathom your self-worth, your level of self-worth. So you need to know your own and stay tuned in with that. That's the Empress. That's the Ten of Cups. That's being abundant and keeping your eye on what you manifested, right? Because you're going to have all kinds of temptations. You're going to have things that look very similar. They're pretending to be that. They're like, maybe we can trick them into thinking we're the one if we do this. That's how narcissists behave. They come in and they do a thing for a very short time, and they lock you in very quickly. And that's why I'm looking at this Knight of Wands, to use your judgment, because I feel like the feminine is looking at this Knight of Wands going, is this a narcissist? Is this a past cycle? Is this someone who's going... And if you're asking these questions based on interactions that you had with them, they're probably not for you, right? If you have to ask, the answer's in the question. And I'm getting very direct here because it's important that because you can do all the work and you're going to attract narcissists. You're going to attract the demonic and the divine when you are in this Empress mode. And to use your judgment, fear and intuition can still feel very similar. You can have done all the work and still be like, okay, well, I know I'm at the place where I love myself. My self-worth is in a good place and all of that. But so the next person that comes in must be my divine counterpart. No, not necessarily, and not likely. Usually the next person that comes in is a test. And so if they send the thumbs up and you hate the thumbs up, you can go ahead and tell them, oh, I don't like the thumbs up. And you can tell them that it's something that bothers you. But there are 8 billion people on this planet. Find somebody else that doesn't do the thumbs up. It's that simple. The divine is very simple. It's not easy. It's simple. So to make divine judgments are very simple. If it's not, if you're minimizing or decluttering your closet, Marie Kondo's, style, it's if it doesn't bring you joy, it's got to go. Other declutterers will say, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. I feel like they're going to say, for instance, I don't like when people say LOL. Stop abbreviating everything. It's just lazy. It's just lazy, and it's just such a blow off. It's such a it's just, I don't know. There's a lot of reasons that I go to, but if they can't spell very well, that is kind of common for narcissists, right? Because they're not very intelligent. They just sort of, they're predatory. They know the tricks to get the prey, but they can only keep that up for a little while. And so things in the way that they communicate very early on in their messages, superficially, I feel are indicators of a later behavior. They're indicators of red flags, and you need to listen to those, right? So let's see. Okay, the Knight of Wands. We have the Four of Wands. Capricorn just had the Four of Wands as well. Now the Four of Wands is, and for the Four of Wands, this is the divine union. This is 11-11. So maybe 11-11, maybe fours are going to be, you're going to be seeing those. Most people would be like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. So they say, LOL. It's not that big of a deal. So they're short. Trust your judgment. If it's a thing that you don't like, if it gives you the ick, that's your body telling you, I don't want to be here, right? If you're in an environment and everyone else is like, just stay 10 more minutes, just stay 10 more minutes. If you stay 10 more minutes in a narcissistic connection or something that is toxic, that could be lethal, literally, for some people, right? So do not stay where you don't want to stay. Do not invest your energy into things that you do not want to invest. So pay attention to these icks to make sure that this is something that is balanced, right? If your body feels good, if you're not questioning when you're done, right? Because a very common thing, the way that narcissists will get you is that they will put their hooks in you by playing that runner chaser thing. It's very enticing and it's very familiar to those who are cycle breakers, children of chaos, codependents, empaths. They were incarnated to deal with people who did that so that they could learn to trust their judgment, their divine judgment, their own Holy Trinity, their intuition, right? And intuition is the balanced place between the head and the heart. It's knowing how you feel, right? Because you've done the work to get out of your emotions and get into your logic of what works for you. Analyzing and paying attention to past patterns. Past patterns and past behavior are indicative of future patterns and future behavior. So when you break those cycles, anything that looks like the past, anything that feels familiar, that's a past. That's going to be, you know what that's going to do. You've already been there. You already done, seen that. You got the t-shirt. You donated it to Goodwill. You burned it in a moon ceremony. It's gone. Like, let it go. It's not for you. And it doesn't matter what other people say. It's not for you. So trust that. Oh, God, I just feel like it. Eight of Wands and Two of Wands. Yeah, this is only focusing on what works in your world and leaving behind anything that is conditional. See this bracket holding this wand here? Anything that's conditional. And you know your icks, you know your red flags, you know your deal breakers. And if you don't, or if you haven't put them onto you might need to put them onto a physical list so that if you don't have these friendships that you can rely on your Holy Trinity, rely on yourself, rely on your connection with spirit to trust and discern between the head and the heart, to find that perfect balance of the intuition. Write it down and say, I don't want someone who's this. Or if you're doing a manifestation list, do true statements, positive statements, I am statements, not I don't want someone who's shorter than I am. Say, I want someone who is, they will be, they are, right? He is, she is, they are this tall or higher, right? And maybe that's superficial, but we have to be attracted to our person, right? And that doesn't mean, again, that they're like a model or anything like that, because maybe you don't find models attractive, right? Maybe you like someone with a dad bod. Maybe you like someone maybe you like someone who's shorter. Maybe you've had bad experiences with tall people, being like full of themselves. And maybe you want someone who's shorter, whatever it is. There's someone out there for everybody. There's a billions of us, okay? So don't sell yourself short. Don't sell your work short. The self-work that you've done, the shadow work that you've done. This is breaking that cycle. And see this crow, this raven, which is a Native American zodiac for Libra, is bringing in this letter, this message. As you're doing this work, as you're continuing to kind of like cut out the shit that doesn't work for you, right? And that's like the Queen of Swords here. Queen of Swords and Queen of Wands is, it's the masculine leaning queens, right? Because fire and swords are, fire and air are masculine elements. So it's like staying vigilant in protecting yourself without being guarded, right? The Queen of Swords will receive offers. She will listen to them, but she doesn't necessarily accept them all. The Empress only accepts from this here. From the divine masculine, someone who's willing to offer the Four of Wands. And so, okay, that was a lot. This is the longest reading so far. So hopefully there was something in here for you. Two of Swords again. Yeah, it's your choice. Trust yourself. And there are practical approaches to honing your intuition if you feel like that's something you can't trust. If you feel like it is something you can trust, hopefully there was something in here that just reminded you to stay the course and block out the static around you, because it's not for you, right? Everyone's concerned with their own situations, and they're not necessarily looking out for your best interest. It's very, very, very rare that you find groups of people that are like your supporters. And maybe you have those people and you feel like you can trust them. Again, talk to them and say, hey, I just met this person, they did this, and they'll say, well, remember you said you really don't like that, or that's pretty reminiscent of so-and-so that you were with, right? Do you know what that looks like? Do you really want to do that again? Those are the real friends. Those are the unconditional friends that are going to like keep you accountable for the stuff that you said you deserved. But you have to believe it yourself. All right. Again, hopefully there was something in here for you. Until next time, I wish you well.